Hey, folks, join me as I do my weekly roundup of what's new or different going on in make.wordpress.org today. I usually do the actual work of creating these posts once a week. It's been some time since I have live streamed, so that's what I'm going to get started doing so far today. As I do this, a lot of times what I will do is pull up make.wordpress.org/latest on one side, and then on the other I keep the post status list going, and sometimes I've got some more things to add to this from other sources, so I'll just walk through what that looks like today. Up first, we see that RC4 has shipped. So this is me curating what is specifically what has happened in the last week. This is still, the next thing is still not fixed because we never really had a push to ship that during, there we go. The zip uploads were not fixed after 643. So next week they will get fixed when 6.5 officially ships. So this is my section on the news about WordPress 6.5. Up next, I will go in and check about accessibility. That news would be new. Or actually, no, that one's older news. We'll skip that. CLI. What date was that one? The date is in the address bar, 2/8. So no, that one's not new. Community discussion. Are we continuing to use Trello? So the last piece that I covered was here. Some of these you'll kind of get the vibe for, like if I actually take the time to stop and read or not. So events from last month and what meetup organizers should know this coming month. Let's hide the welcome box. Last month's events. Anything I should really call out? Dates and WordCamps held before February with open budgets, blah, blah, blah. That's lots of finance planning for it. Budgets, transparency report, that's fine. Meetup organizer newsletter. 6.5's coming. Asia, meetups of the month, meetup groups, meetup organizers, tip of the month, etc. I think we're going to let the organizers find that. That doesn't seem to be anything that's like major headline breaking news. All right, core. So for core, I split the meetings into this section. Anything that is 6.5 related goes above, and then there's only a little bit that goes in here that's not related to either of those. So summary of dev chat goes down in this meetings section, noting for myself that the last thing that went in to the meetings was dev chat from March 20th. So we'll put that in. Hi, folks tuning in. Feel free to leave some comments wherever you happen to find me. I am curating all of the weekly roundup that I do once a week, sharing all the latest news of what's going on throughout the WordPress project. And this is the behind the scenes peek at what that looks like. So summary of dev chat. What's new in Gutenberg? That will go into the core section because, again, if you remember, Gutenberg plugin, this version is not going to be in 6.5. The features that are in this version of Gutenberg will come out in 6.6. So we'll just drop that one into core for now. Agenda for dev chat. Well, we have the recap, so we don't need the agenda. Hallway Hangout, data liberation. Oh, that one should go in there. Performance chat summary. Let's put that one in the core meetings area. Core is the only team that has that many separate little meetings within one team. So we don't have to include all of that. Everything that I can find about WordPress 6.5 is all included in that one big section. Release day process. Let's see. WordPress 6.5 release day process. We don't have that one published yet, so we'll pull that from .org on the right side of my screen into the post status review on the left. All right. That all is looking good. Hallway Hangout, site editor, that was yesterday. Need to go back and watch that one. Yeah, those meetings are now a week ago, so we'll let those be. Dev blog. Let's go down to the core dev blog section. So some of these areas could use a little more refinement, a little more polishing. Because dev blog is kind of and core meetings are both sort of a subset of what's going on in core. So for the dev blog, I will grab, let's see, Drop Shadows was the last thing. So we've had 3 pretty substantial articles come in that are related to 6.5, which is fantastic. Let's check out and see if there are any recent issues under data liberation. I give this one usually as a link because data liberation is not its own fully fledged team. It is kind of a subset generally of Meta. But I'm looking through any of these. These were opened a month ago, so nothing new in the data liberation area. There are the issues. I might want to check and see if the discussions are there. Any discussions that were recent? Not really, so we'll just call that good. Let's see, documentation. There's design share. Design should go in this time. So if a particular team has nothing that's new, then I don't include it. What I will do though is like make sure that that particular week that team's news gets covered. I will come back and see. There we go. Clean up some of that space. Documentation. They had an agenda for the biweekly. Let's go over summary of Docs team meeting. That one should get added. And let's see if there's anything going on in the Docs team meeting that seems particularly of interest to relay to the rest of the WordPress community. Hide the welcome box. Meetings, project checks. So working on some things that are release related, it looks like. I could tell that because it goes off to GitHub issues or the document issue tracker. Open floor. Share the list of open issues yet. Change log on the articles. Change log. Yep. End user docs. The rest of the docs never caught up. So they would like to have change logs in more of the docs. That's cool. But not really newsworthy at this time. I want to get back into the habit. I need to fix these embeds. These are recent support documents, so user-facing documents and dev docs. So I want to get back into kind of including some of that information. Let's check the 5 for the future GitHub repo and see if there's anything happening there. Issues. Let's see. Sustainability team icon is missing. Oh, yeah. We should get one of those. Let's see where that's. Back to the future page, pledge for this company. Sustainability icon is missing for this one. I don't know this person, but yep, that's fine. So they would like to have an icon showing here in the 5 listings. So let's include that. Here. List. That item. Take the list out from here. Oh, tricky. There we go. All right. And then because I made both of these pages, I know that I could do this. Oh, so silly of me. And then we will make that one into a heading. Marketing's a 2. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, heading is correct. Next up, hosting. Hosting has proposal, PHP unit test runner with all of this. Last week, I didn't really have space in the headlines to cover it, but it might be kind of interesting to include it. We'll keep it as a possible for the headlines section. I don't know yet. Not getting any comments in yet, but I see that we've got some people watching. So thank you for joining in and watching. Feel free to leave some comments if you'd like along the way, asking any questions about how I find this news. Jobs, we probably don't need to really publish those, but They're on the jobs board site, jobs.wordpress.net. Yes, we have a .net. Just kind of interesting. Marketing, making of a WordPress media core. We'll let that in because it's still a pretty hot headline. I don't need to lead with it at the top of the post, but we'll let it in for now. Meta team. Let's see. The agenda from last time. Doc, plugin, repo, preview, interesting. All right, let's go just a minute to, I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet that I've got to sort of check on a couple of other things. Google, I'm pulling it up in one window to move it over to the other, because I know that Meta has a couple of places where stuff can kind of be kept, right? WordPress happens. Here is my doc. You can see that a new one is opening in the sidebar of my browser. Let's close this one. So in the Meta team, here is kind of my master oh my gosh spreadsheet. I've shared it on X a couple times. Here are all the different facets that make up WordPress sites. If I go down to the team that is Meta, and I do this with Meta because our stuff is everywhere. And I say this hour because I help facilitate the meetings for this one. Handbook, get involved, GitHub issues. This is what I want to see. Here are the different GitHub repos that I need to look at and notice if for this, let's see, let's open the next one. Let's open the next one. Now, when I actually go to publish this, so data liberation, I did look at Matrix. I don't think is doing anything that we need to really look at it, but let's just confirm. I don't know what the latest on the Matrix Slack migration situation looks like. So first, let's look through. Meta has some, this is WordPress.org, actual website. No issues there. There are pull requests though. So those usually come by way of someone starting first in like a Meta track ticket. And here are the PRs for it. So I could see what was fixed most recently 3 weeks ago. Yeah, we're okay on that one. .org news. So this is kind of the WordPress.org/news theme and what's going on with that. That one doesn't need anything in there. .org developer. So this would be for developer.wordpress.org as the theme. Any issues that are related to that, not recent enough. Nothing in the discussions. That's probably, nope, 2022. Data liberation, we looked at that one briefly. So yeah, don't need that one. Matrix issues. Let's see, under issues. Opened on the 31st. Nope. Discussions. Yeah, those are fine. We don't need to include that. All right. Other places that things could be happening. And this is, I've just looked over the discussions for each of the really important ones. Let's go look at MetaTrack and see if there's anything happening in MetaTrack that should be pulled out as newsworthy. Our last meeting was really a week ago. So when I come to this, I'm looking at, let's go to view tickets. And I want to do a custom query since the last week. Not reporter is me. No. Add. Created. And I'm going to narrow my focus. So the last time that I published was last week. So I want anything in that time span that was created. This doesn't mean that old tickets might not have been answered. Update full site editing tag for block themes. Let's see. New theme lacks different color for visited links. Delete track comment if GitHub comments deleted. I don't think it's newsworthy. Relevant block editor handbook search. That could be interesting. Let's see. For Dev Hub, like the Dev Hub, add a keyboard shortcut for searching. Control K. Oh, so like wanting on the front end of sites. Did this get lots of attention? Not yet. All right. Well, hey, Gambo. I don't know your actual name, but hey, that's fine. So Thank you for that submission. Let's see. Anne would like open date days ago, so probably not too new. New theme likes different color for visited links. Yeah, that should be helpful. That's support forums. So open 5 days ago. I don't know if that's really newsworthy items. That might be better for like the meta team. So I'll just leave those as that. Sometimes it's worth still kind of seeing some things. Those are different Slack channels where meta stuff happens. I think I'm okay on those. All right. So meta this week, you are just not included. Yeah. That's okay. You know? I don't think anything that was going on in meta, at least this past week, is particularly newsworthy. That's kind of the decision that's there. Playground. Let's go see if there's anything on the playground or the showcase. Mobile doesn't have anything that's there. I'm not going to completely erase the section because mobile also usually posts over in updates, which is something I always we'll get there. I'll explain. All right. 11 hours ago, open yesterday. Playground PR reviews as a GitHub app. Hey, that looks probably pretty interesting. So let's add that one to the playground section. This is the old news from the playground. So the new news. When I'm done with creating this roundup, for the 10 of you that are live watching, thank you for joining me. When I'm done with creating the roundup, I will try to maybe narrow it down to kind of my attempt at a list of all of this stuff, what should get the headlines, what's also interesting for various people. And then if you want to read the details, come to this. I'm still kind of toying around with how to elevate the work of what's happening in .org, to the people that build sites with it, to the people that build our themes or plugins or hosting, all of that. So, so that people are just aware. Playground PR previews as a GitHub app. So I'm reading a little more about this one. Modified. Yep. Okay. GitHub app could be installed on any repo. Right. So I think this will be similar to Gutenberg.run, but broader than Gutenberg, broader than core, perhaps. It sounds like from what Nick was doing that he was playing with blueprints for his own block and added a demo like into the GitHub plugin. So the GitHub directory for the plugin. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I believe that's what this sounds like. Yeah. So if you've got a plugin that's sitting in a GitHub repo and you accept PRs on it, well, this would allow you to use the playground to PR not just WordPress things, but your plugin. So that one's pretty interesting. So I like that one as another potential for the headlines. We'll see. Can't save site settings. Get playground on. Maybe. Woo, errors, support ports in multi-sites. Okay, let's see. Playground, get playground on test results. Test results on Okay, so sharing the information to the test results site, that's pretty cool. But I don't know that one makes it as a news thing. Add an accessibility tag. Showcase doesn't have anything happening, so we'll just jump back over. Nathan Wrigley. Hey, Nathan. Nice to see what's in my sidebar. Yes, fantastic. So this is how I organize my Arc. I love the Arc browser. Projects, areas. Down here is resources and archives. So this is taken from Tiago Forte's method. He wrote a book about the para method, but it's how I organize the things, and then all these little pins up at the top that help me keep my day running along nice and smooth. Nathan shares a comment into this working live stream. I often send Nathan the output of what this looks like. And Nathan, I'm just kind of toying with this idea of like, how do I How do I make this more ingestible by people that consume the WordPress media news? How do I help call the people that should be paying attention to this in and get the information down the pipeline to folks like you that can help really amplify it? So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So to the plugins team. So Openverse, Performance. Performance is a weird team. They're part of Core. They have their own team site, but they don't really use it. Sometimes they cross post, but not always. So I lump them into Core for now until they decide to do something different. Photos team. February stats, it's old news. Polyglots. Polyglots is next. I need to fix this on .org. I didn't follow my letters correctly. The plugins team was talking about what was new at Contributor Day. They also post something on make.wordpress.org/updates. A lot of teams publish stats to the /updates team site. Word is that once upon a time, it was where Matt went to look for the specific information about what the teams were doing. Some people still use it. I don't know if we still should be using it. So anyway, when I get down to /updates, I'll put that in the right place. Plugins team, only blank for now. Polyglots says up here, this list of polyglots is not everything that their team site publishes. They publish a lot. Props to Torbjorn for giving me a specific link that is everything except for the requests for various plugins to get people approved to translate and that type of thing. They use the plugins team uses, or the polyglots team uses their stuff differently than like every other team. So they're unique. We'll say that. Whoopsie. So sorry to be jumping around on the screen here. Plugins, polyglots, agenda. Is it that that's bumped down only in my little weird? No, it's really bumped down. Okay. Oh, come on, Gutenberg. To agenda. Let's go back the line. There we go. Copy the link. Sometimes my little copy link address, sometimes my little method of cheating from my make/latest page works, and sometimes it doesn't. So I just try to copy carefully. Message from one of those. Don't think that's needed. And we had that one for last time. All right. Support team. Actually, let me do a quick review. Polyglots quick review of what is going on over in Polyglots. This is me doing a fast skim of, let's say, local stats, working on, we're working on the release, and it's delayed. So mainly the work is to translate ahead of that one shipping. So not anything really too major there. Project, that was, let's see, did I cover WordCamp Q&A from Asia? Is this all the follow-ups maybe for Matt? When was this one published? Laura published this one March 22nd. So yes, so this is the follow-up questions and answers. Oh, that's handy. So you didn't get your question answered live. If Matt ran out of time in his lightning rounds, then that's one to go to. And that's a pretty nifty use, I will say so myself, of the details block, or as I sometimes jokingly refer to it as the peekaboo block. The one that you like collapse and expand. All right. So that's the project one. That's kind of interesting. That was covered a while ago because I remember that. The security team, they are security by obscurity. Nathan, the idea with the media core, that's kind of the thing I'm looking at, is maybe turning this bit into sort of a polished, you're getting the working view of what I'm doing right now, but maybe turning something like this into the polished view of it. And also this spreadsheet, and I'll happily send it to anyone that asks in at least a read view. But this is everywhere the WordPress work is taking place, whether it is the team site, where things live, the handbook, the GitHub discussions, because sometimes there are forums over there, track, channels, etc. I'm happy to give people a link to that, and I'm working on a better way to sort of integrate that. You're getting a look at me doing the work of surfacing all of these news outputs, but what I want to do is think about how to polish it up a little better so that we can continue to elevate that piece of things. Yeah, Nathan says that he works in a similar way. But yes, that's the point. Like if I go find the things for you and then you get other people to do some talking about it, well, that would be great. So that's the more people that we can help raise awareness to, call in to contribute, or pay attention to how it might impact their client sites or their products that they're making and selling, the better that we can do about that. So yeah, I'm really thinking through how that could look. Um, project support. So that was Community Summit. I should bump that section down. This page is make.wordpress.org/latest. It is, and unless it's not hidden, but we don't have it in any nav menus because that page needs a little more design efforts than it has available. So when we get the redesign on Make, then this might land in it get polished up a little more than what I could do in a classic theme. And then see where we can go with that support. So I'm going to keep in this Digital Services Act area because my European friends are basically more interested in making sure the forums adhere to all of those areas. It's not new news. It's just it's worth just keeping in front of people. All right, and then announcement of a new support meeting time. The support team wants to decide when they want to meet. Sustainability, that one, let's see what they've got going on. That's March 22nd. Summary and agenda for tomorrow is the 29th. Sustainability is very much a team that I appreciate. They're working on a lot of different initiatives. Some of it I think that I will get involved with that I have yet to get involved with is the idea of having enough sustainability for doing the work of the project, right? But Nahue gave a great 7-episode podcast series. Nathan, since you're listening, I will just say that you should, if you have not yet had him on for a podcast somewhere, I forget if you have or not, but he did like a 7 or 8 series episode special podcast about the sustainability team, and it was fascinating. All right, so this team is working on onboarding new contributors, their handbook, sustainability plugin, which is a cool one. I think that plugin, you can find it there, but I believe Javier Casares helped work on that one too. And it tells you kind of the emissions of your hosting, which is pretty neat. You want to use any existing plugins, ideas, suggestions, and then comments. So again, cool work of that team, but I don't think that anything is newsworthy there. Systems, another one of those obscure teams. The systems people are the actual, Meta does a bit of DevOps, a bit of fixing all of WordPress.org to keep the systems running. The systems team is largely hosting infrastructure. Something broke, or I need access to something that not even Meta can do, like fixing SSL on the site or something. Like that's, Tide team is not doing too much lately. Test team. Do agenda on the test team. And I believe that, I'm going to call in this like testing the font library feature. In fact, I'm just going to I did look at this post briefly a little bit ago. I am so excited to see the work that Pooja has been doing over there, but that's going to make it into a call out because the font library feature is the reason we've had the delay, right? So I'm going to bump that into the 6.5 news. There we go. And did not catch the name. If you're taking a look, Nathan, at the sustainability team post, I don't know how to pronounce this name correctly. It sounds Hawaiian, but it's definitely not. I'll private message you and get you two introduced if you haven't connected yet. So I'll take care of that for you, certainly. All right. So we're jumping back down after the test team. Definitely want to test out the font library area. And so this is specifically giving a call for how to test, different ways to go about the testing. You can launch the playground and test in that. You could test in a lot of different ways. I would also suggest people run some of these tests on multi-site if you happen to be really familiar with multi-site, because the path for where the fonts are stored in multi-site is kind of interesting too. So multi-site is always interesting. I'll say that. Multi-site is interesting. All right, the themes team. What do we have in the themes team? Themes team update for here's the recap and the update. In the update, what I do know, and I want to call attention to, William Patton reached out to me. Thank you, William, because COFL reached having vetted a certain threshold of themes that was something insane. So I want to go find, I don't often include tweets and things like that because, X gets kind of sketch sometimes, but okay, there's that. I will go find COFL's X account. Let's see. Maybe the safest way, since I'm screen sharing, to do this is go find. Here we go. Go to COFL's profile. Go to COFL's X. I know the content that's on COFL's X. I feel good about that one. So I'm going to scroll down to where COFL shared, because I saw this the other day. It was back a few days now that this is just one of those like, oh, I caught the information. No, that's March. So COFL theme. Yeah, let's just do COFL theme. And then I'm getting a little scared. Waiting. So here you go. This is the post. This is the tweet that I was looking for. I didn't see it before. Major milestone: 5,000 themes reviewed on WordPress.org. That is a massive milestone. So COFL has vetted 5,000 themes as one of our contributors to the themes team. So that deserves a big round of applause. So I'm actually going to go stick that up we'll go put that even at the top section. Close, not just after all the WordPress 5 stuff, right? That seems like a good place for it. Let's turn on list view, because list view, and if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to slide my screen so that my ratio looks right. I don't want that side. I'm trying to share all the things with you at the same time of how I work through some of these things. So after that space, so let's hit enter. Post this, let the tweet embed. There we go. William, thank you for calling it out. William Patton called that one out. William's returned to contributing more to the WordPress project, has been a big part of the theme review team for a while. But also I did ensure that I caught that. So themes team, that's just one of those, I saw it in passing and I was like, oh yeah, when I get around to writing this, I probably should make notes for myself one day, but themes team, test team is done. Training team, themes team meeting agenda. Was that their last? Yeah, that was the last training. Let's see. Asia recap was the last thing they had. So training team recap, speak at a WordCamp about the training team. So if you would like to do that, and I'm going to keep this post still. It's kind of now been, I don't know, almost a month. But the work that the training team has been doing, and I've been, honestly, this year, I've been a little bit more focused on contributing to Meta and facilitating their meetings than the training team. But the work the training team is doing about learning pathways and this idea of maybe calling them skill trees, it's to line up a series of courses in a logical sequential order. And so with a skill tree, they would allow the facilitator instructor to say, I want the students to learn this course, that course, this course, this course, kind of making it a put your own, I think of it like a choose your own adventure book about what should go in what order for learning. And so different places might have different goals for that. Someone that's studying beginner level design might need some of the same basics of WordPress, but also some of these other pieces. Whereas the person that's doing dev might not need all exact same things. They would need the user plus like a couple of dev things to reach a certain point. So that's the idea roughly behind skill trees, but there's more to that. So I'm going to just keep that post in there. Online workshops. Let's see. WordPress Learn newsletter for March. When did we publish that one? Let's see if it gives me a date. So the training team has a newsletter. Their newsletter doesn't tell me when it was published, but we've got a lot of lesson plans that have been facilitated for March. So I think I've included that one. Lesson plans, tutorials, online workshops. Let's see, online workshops. Do we have anything? Sometimes I will include the things that are not English. This is one of the few sites in all of WordPress.org where we do not have, like, Docs has locales for their other content. Learn just puts it all under all the languages together under one site. Makes it lively. Online workshop. Live stream 6.5 is the last thing. So we have how to start contributing, untangling templates, and some of these. So I will append that. Now to get into some of the more geeky things. Oh, wait, TV. Yeah, that's done. Nothing there. Those are just like a list of the most recent videos. I don't really publish those. Here's the updates. So this update is from the test team, but if I go load up the site, you will see here's the test team's data. So this is oftentimes a lot of data. I don't take people over to the updates. I don't like, I'll give them a link to the direct article if they really wanted it. But I think /updates again, when the project was just getting started and teams were new, this was the place to go for Matt, I believe, is what I have been told by former staff members of Automattic. This is where Matt went to look to see what's going on in the teams. It's mostly just like, here's our data dump of what we did or what we published that's new. And so plugins, I said earlier, I was leaving that blank. That's why it's there. Core team updates. I think plugin review team and core team, if you're looking for numbers that are impressive about what the team did just in the past week, those might be interesting to gather. So if you've seen those kind of things, it's like labeled as core team update. That usually means the stats that you're able to share that team was working on. Docs team, what did they do in the month? Mobile team. So yeah, mobile, this is why I think I left mobile in, is that they're reliable about being on this list. And then all the other ones would have been covered in last week's stuff. Anything new from Central? Uganda's time to pivot. 3. So it says it was in March. Yeah, that one I think is new. So WordCamp Central gets a listing this week. I will open up and read what that's about very briefly. Let's give that to this section down here. Let's see what they say. WordCamp Central post. Cool. In May, Uganda Education Showcase in Masaka. I have not met him yet. I've met a couple of our contributors that are kind of involved in this particular one in the Uganda area. In fact, I trained one of them on how to do this roundup that I'm showing you right now, not too long ago with Patrick, which is great. Okay, so that's cool. Let's see, Foundation, nothing new there. WordCamps, we see US is out. It's got the list of tickets are available, all that. Do action hackathon. That's not necessarily new. These are miscellaneous but helpful links. But over here, what I include in this section on the post status version, since that one's done, I'm going to close that side out. A little easier to view. What you see in the post status version at the bottom are a lot of the languages and dependencies that the project depends on. And I'm thinking of ways to sort of automate some of this, that it would go and tell me the news, but I don't really have a good way for that yet. So what I end up doing is just what you see. I manually do a click and go look at the numbers. So jQuery. Nope, that's the last post for jQuery. Curl. Sometimes I find out about these ones that we should be watching. Oh, we do have a new one for curl. That's cool, because something in the project happened. So if you remember when WordPress 6.4 released, people weren't going to get the updates. Oh, it looks like we had 2 go out on March 27. So I should go into the releases and get I want the link to just this. That one's not a link, so I can, yeah. Massive I use, so you're able to get an RSS list specifically, Nathan, for things like all of the dependencies that we have in the project. Sometime you and I should do like just a nice, like, working session hangout kind of deal about our how we do this. So curl was up to 871. 7.1. So anytime that these weird dependencies start having issues, there's the link for that one. When these dependencies have issues, like when we shipped WordPress 6.4 and some of the hosts were using, I don't want to say it incorrectly, so that's 271. Some hosts were using some legacy infrastructure on their servers, which is very understandable. A lot of enterprise places will do work like this, and they pay companies to keep alive what is no longer supported. When that happens, curl was not matching up with what WordPress needed in that version on that legacy infrastructure. So that one became problematic. Node. Did I open the Node one? I have a friend that does a lot of contributing to Node. I did open that one. All right. PHP. Let's see. We're at 8.3.4. PHP keeps a couple versions going. They have a version at 8.1, 8.2, and 8.3. At 8.3, they truly, these are all on the same page. They're just specific hot links. 8.3.4 was the last thing, so the other links are also fine. PHP Code Sniffer. I believe that we got the WordPress Code Sniffer specifically has some updates. So February 16th, that's still true. But this one, I vaguely remember seeing that some of that. Here we go. Get the link for 3. Whoops. Back. Juliet did some great work on this one. Copy link address to 310. 310. All right. So 3.1.0, and I might make a point to call that out because plugin theme company owners, etc., might want to double check that they're up to par if they are also using the code sniffer, using the WordPress code sniffer. That makes sure that their coding standards are where they need to be. Those that know lots more code than I do would care. I'll say that. Sometimes I check on libzip. Libzip is the reason why in 6.4.3 we can't upload the things. So that's been added. Did we have an update? PHP mailer, nothing new in there. That's what lets WordPress send emails like someone submitted a form. Libzip is at 1.1.1.10.1. So no, nothing new there. MySQL, let's see. Oh, we have a .3.7, not yet released. Has no release notes. Okay, if they don't have release notes, they don't get included. Let's see. Let's go up here to like 8.3, anything there. MySQL 8.3 release notes. Yeah, I'll update my link now that I see that there's an option for that one. 8.3. Paste that. That's probably not particularly newsworthy. Composer, a lot of people working on plugins are using Composer. A lot of devs are using Homebrew. The other one, TC39, is the JavaScript organization. Basically, it's the standard, the ECMAScript standards, which becomes JavaScript. And then I have some of the links that are in there to knowing what the browsers are doing. So 2.7.2 for Composer. That's the latest. That's still the latest. That's fine. Homebrew 4.2.14. Let's see. 4.2.15. Homebrew has an update almost every week. Homebrew is a nifty way of doing some PHP fun things in command line. Yeah. Homebrew lets you run a lot of stuff in terminal. I'll just say that. There's a lot more to it, but there's that. Let me do a double check over my WordPress happens here. Is there anything as I organize? I spent some time last Friday really digging in, organizing this. And I'm trying to think if there's anything that I'm like, oh yeah, I should cover something that I didn't cover. Let's see what the WordPress redesign efforts say. That's about cleaning up our own house. The design across.org. Yeah, okay. So let's see the redesign. Here's the redesigned dashboard. You know, this one's not jumping out to me as like something with dates that I can. That's home. Let's go by priority. Anything that's really urgent priority. Homepage layout. Look at that. Yeah, we do need that. Enterprise page layout. On hold or blocked. Pending. Yeah. Okay. So that's a bit that RSS probably can't get you, but I could get you my sheet and you could make use of anything. Okay. So that puts together this piece. So I'm going to double check. So at the top, I need some headlines. I put in, we're back to using wp-content/uploads/fonts per the area that is, font library update storage of fonts. Per this article, the the font library went from WP content/fonts to back to WP-content/uploads/fonts. And I just want to double check. Yes. Will only a revised approach. Fallback. This is as of when? That's March 21. Oh, man. Now I have to actually go do some homework and check that they're where they say they are. Let's see if this release post from today tells me any of that. Thanks, Nathan, for stopping by. I'll see you on your way out. Okay. Yep. Fonts. Does it tell me in fonts? Tickets, how to test. The haiku. Okay. So yeah. I will actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go look in the core channel because during the release party today, some people were testing that specific area. So I'm going back and looking through the core channel about this. Yes, it goes to /updates. Thank you, Patrick, who I showed how to do this. Patrick said that it confirmed font upload location to be, and he said that in a core Slack channel. So my heading stands as it should, which is good. Okay. So post status. Let's see. We had for the what should I highlight? Things that look pretty interesting. Oh yeah, the coding standards. WPCS is up to 310. So we'll put that up here. WPCS 310. What else did I say might make for a good headline? Testing fonts. Test fonts. All right. And then I hit publish. And then I do a little bit of behind the scenes work as well. So before when I go to share this across all the social sites, I'll just copy this and I go into my social media system and I'm using one provided from work because this would be not in my budget. And you're only really going to get into seeing the ones that are like my stuff when I show you this. So that's fine. Verify. Use my password. All the passwords. Okay, so we are signed in. After I am done blasting this to all the socials and Slack channels and Discords and all the things myself, the next step of that is I write something that will go into the weekly newsletter as well. And we'll see if I have time to include that today or not. So let's see. This week in Make WordPress. And then I try and emojify just for interest, right? Rocket WP 6.5 RC4. We have for the fonts, I do the ABC. Fonts in WP content, uploads. I'm only capitalizing it to draw awareness. And then the last one was code sniffer. So for code, let's see, what can I find in my emojis? All of the emojis to represent code. We'll put a person. I think it's National Women's Month, so I will put in a woman. Let's pick varieties of skin tone, right? Because I always do that. And come on. Oh, it shouldn't be so hard to pick emojis. All right. WPCS 3.1.0. All right. So that makes some importance that are there. And then I will post. And then to keep it really easy, you could see I open up a Twitter list area that has it as well. So by the time that I cross-post this into the Post Status Slack, I then will also write maybe a couple of sentences for the newsletter that goes out, sort of indicating, again, along the same lines, something for the newsletter that's sentences worth of information. Okay, there's that. Let's go to the LinkedIn community that I run while I'm at it. Paste there. Space. Post. And then pin it. Okay. And then, don't forget to tell Blue Sky and tell Threads and Mastodon and then all the Slacks and there's a handful of people that I direct message this to every single week. And I so enjoy doing that. Hit post. And then Threads and post here. Yep, that looks good in Threads. And then Mastodon. I host my Mastodon for the time being with Nathan, but I understand that I need to start the migration. So we'll post this and hit publish. Cool. Well, hey, folks, thank you for those that joined in for doing so. Had a good time today working through some of this with you. If you would like to give me some feedback about if you want to see the working version of how I put this all together, this is the behind the scenes working version. And I've been thinking about putting out a more polished rendition of this. So I'm up for ideas. I know that part of the need in the WordPress community is understanding the full fire hose of everything going on everywhere and how we can really systematize, streamline that information to the right places. So always open for those kind of ideas. I thank you for those that did join in and that watched today. And I'm off to another meeting, but I'll see you all online again soon. Thanks all.